Hello and welcome, I'm Fan, and in this video I'll give Blight Lord Extinction mode another try. Still doing it with Brama and Malastar, and nothing in the setup has changed. I've shuffled up the Nemesis deck since last attempt, and I'll just briefly go over my setup and what the Blight Lord does in case you haven't watched the other video and you're interested, you haven't seen the Nemesis before. If you have seen the past video, or if you're uninterested, just go skip to gameplay. There should be chapters down below. So yeah, Blight Lord is a really nasty Nemesis. Its gimmick is that it has these tainted jades, which cost 0, and when you use them you gain 2 ether, but you suffer 1 damage. But you can also destroy them by spending 2 ether, and if you destroy them in any other way you take 1 damage. You can, they count as a supply pile, so you can gain them at any time during your main phase as you would from any other supply pile at the cost of 0. But we don't want to do that because it's very risky to do so when you're running low, because if you have 1 Tainted Jade in the supply pile at the beginning of the Nemesis turn, it advances the Tainted Track once, and we'll go into that. That has some nasty effects. If it has 0, you advance it twice. So that gets really fast, it goes bad really fast. Yeah, so at the beginning we make the supply pile, which is made up of 2, 1 for each mage, so in this case 2, and then plus 4. And we have the Tainted Jade, the Tainted Track. Yeah, and we trigger those effects. Yeah, increased difficulty. We remove 2 Tainted Jades, so we would have 6 on normal mode difficulty, but we have one additional one, 70 HP, 80 HP on Extinction mode. So the Tainted Track has all these nasty effects. Gravehold suffers 7 at 3, player with the lowest life suffers 4 at 5, which is really bad because that means you have to HP manage a lot in order to not immediately just have one of the mages go down. Because if they go below 5, like if they go below half, down to half or below half HP, yeah, that's really difficult to manage. So you only really have 6 HP total to do anything with. And of course Brama is gonna heal a bit, but we don't want to rely on it. So at 7, Blight Lord gains 10 life, so that's gonna further the game, like drag it out, so increasing the risk of running into tier 3 or not finishing off early enough in tier 2. And at 9, the player just lose. That's really bad, so we're gonna place the tracker on the first here. And for our mages, we have Malastar as our support mage, so to speak, because only thing he's gonna do is gonna use Gift of Ether, activate during your main phase, gain a spell from any supply pile. You may prep that spell to any player's open breach. So we want to do with Brama is just open her breaches. That's all she's gonna do. Gonna use Bison Ball Vortex and Blasting Staff and just get through her deck really fast by giving her Radiances over here. And Malastar really goes well with Blight Lord because he has Immolate. While prep, when you suffer damage, gain 1 charge. So basically, by just taking all the Tainted Jades, figuring out how many he can use while also keeping Blight Lord 2 or above, like we can get a lot of charges out of that. That's what Malastar is gonna be doing. We have Brama. The only thing she's really doing is, of course, the pretty good breaches. We not really focus on the 3rd breach. We only need to open 2nd and 4th breach. That's pretty good. We have some backup healing to mitigate some of that. The player with the lowest life suffers 4 damage on the Tainted Track. We have Buried Light, which is quite fine, especially 3 ether and crystals in hand. That gives you 4 ether total when you cast this to get the Blasting Staff. That's more or less it for the mages. For our for our starting supply, we have Leeching Agate. When you gain this, gain 1 charge. Cost of 3 basically means if you have 3 ether, instead of wasting 1, you can just gain a charge by getting this, while also building up your deck for later. That's one of the gems for Malastar. Sister Spell not really relevant. Cloud Sapphire not really relevant. We're not gonna buy them, they're just there to fill out, basically. We have Bottle Vortex. At cost of 3, destroy this. Destroy up to 2 cards in your hand or discard pile, draw a card. That's gonna help Brama empty out her deck so we can have more radiances compared to all of the cards. Blasting Staff, 4 cost. You may cast a prep spell that you prep this turn. If you do, that spell does 2 additional damage. Helps getting radiance through the deck a lot faster, and also just momentum. Really nice for Brama. Scrying Ball, cast, deal 5 damage at the cost of 6. You don't really need to know much about this. It's not gonna bite it much. Wildfire Whip, 6 cost. While prep during a main phase, you may spend 2 ether to cast any player's prep spell. Cast, deal 4 damage. So it's not a part of our main strategy, but at the end, if Malastar has the ability to charge up, he can just prep Wildfire Whip, have a lot of unspent ether, spend it on casting all the spells. So if he goes at the end, Brama has a lot of spells prepped. Well, there they go, onto Nemesis health, hopefully taking it out before tier 3, or even have an opening to just take out the Nemesis before they can do anything in round 7, on the last round of tier 2. And that's why we're having Wildfire Whip there. We are having Consuming Void if we just need a bit more damage with Gift of Ether to put it out and just deal some damage at the end. And then we have Radiance, the main spell. Cast, 8 cost, cast, deal 5 damage, each ally draws a card. So Malastar is gonna give Brama a lot of radiances, so deal, well, alright damage. Like 8 cost is really not that great, but what it does help with is giving Malastar a lot of draws, so he can draw into the Tainted Jades, get rid of them sooner, or use them for charges a lot faster. That's why we are running Radiance. We are playing on Extinction mode, so that means that Gravehold has 5 less HP, Nemesis has 10 more HP, and Mages has 2 less HP each. So 8 HP for Malastar and Brama, 25 for Gravehold, and 80 for Blight Lord. And with that said, let's get into the game. Alright, let's get this started. Last game we got down to 40 HP, which is, well, close, but not quite close enough. We're starting off with Malastar, so we just want to open up our 3rd breach to prep Immolate. That's 4 ether, well, 3 ether spent, 1 left over. Nemesis. Vowen Sky. To discard 3 cards in hand, power 2, unleash, any player suffers 4 damage. Yeah, that's one of those powers that I always buy off, because especially on Extinction mode, taking 4 damage is a lot. I can take or give the unleash, that's quite fine. Nemesis again, 1 on Vowen Sky, 1 power off. Bane Sire. Persistent, unleash, 6 HP. Oh, well, if this is gonna stay on for too long, we might have a problem with too many, what's it called? Tainted Jades in circulation. So, yeah, we want to deal with that as soon as possible. We're gonna run with Brama. Just gonna spend the 4 ether opening up her 2nd breach. We don't want to buy anything with Brama because they're just gonna fill up the deck prepping the Buried Light, because we would just want to use Gift of Ether to give her radiances, so there's no need to buy any other cards really. Brama again. So we're gonna cast the Buried Light, and I think like we can hope for Malastar. Well, Malastar's going to next, so we could hope for him to go again after that. Hopefully giving the last charges that he would need, but I'm not so sure that's gonna happen, so we wanna run down Banesire a bit. So we're gonna, that's the 1 ether from Buried Light plus the 3 from the crystals. So that's gonna be 4 ether to focus our 4th breach, prepping our sparks. Leaving 1 space open if Gift of Ether comes into play before Brama goes next. And we have Malastar. 5 crystals, 5 ether, I do think I want to discard 3 of them to get rid of Valen's Guy in case the Nemesis goes next. Otherwise we'll be buying a Leashing Agate, which would be really nice, but in this case Valen's Guy, I fear Valen's Guy. It's really nasty. Oh, and there's gonna be 1 charge. There we go. That's it for round 1, so let me shuffle up and let's move to round 2. Okay, round 2. Let's see what's in store for us. We have a Brama turn. Alright. Yeah, so we're gonna use that spark to go down to 4. And then I think we'll just use the 4 ether here to open up our 4th breach to prep Blight Lord there, to hopefully deal 3 damage to Banesire next turn, or 2 and then 2 from Immolate to take it down before it deals too much. Oof, we have Malastar. So right now I actually think we are quite fine with the Tainted Jade, so I don't quite want to use Immolate, but then again we also have that 1 attack that just immediately gives you 2 Tainted Jades into hand, which with the Banesire would move us down to 1 Tainted Jade and force us to move along the Tainted track. So yeah, I kind of think we're forced to use Immolate here to deal 2 damage to Banesire, just to control that a bit. Like we do want to, like we want the Tainted Jades, but we don't want it to run amok, so we can't really risk too much. Like I could get the Tainted Jades now, but I don't think it would be worth it in the long run, because we just get a lot of them out here and it's so much out of our control. 5 ether, that's 3 for the Leashing Agate, and then we have 2 ether left over for additional charge, so that's 2 charges. Up to 3. Alright. Malastar again, so that was totally unnecessary. Right, so well, we got the Immolate again, but we could have gotten the Leashing Agate there, I think. Right, so we're gonna prep the Immolate, spend 4 ether to gain 2 charges to move up to 5. Almost there, but not quite. That's gonna be it for Malastar. We have Nemesis, so immediately Banesire unleashes, so giving Malastar 1 Tainted Jade, draws a new card, Vitrify. The players collectively gain 2 Tainted Jades and place them into their hands, and that's the one I was talking about, and we didn't want to see right now, especially since Malastar gone twice in a row, so Malastar gonna give them 2 in hand. I'll draw his actual hand in between rounds, but they will be in his hand. So basically we now know that it's gonna move the Tainted track next time. Alright, so we have Brama. So Blight Lord's gonna deal 2 damage to Banesire to take it out. And get 1 ether, and I think just gonna draw her hand. Yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm just gonna prep the spark over here so that it's ready to be used, and then for 5 ether because of the Blight Lord, we are running into 1 bottle vortex and 2 charges left. Oh, 2 charges left over for 1 charge. 2 ether left over for 1 charge. There we go. Language. All right. So Banesire is not gonna destroy us anymore, but that's 1 Tainted Jade over here, so remove that Tainted track once. And then we have Agony's Field. To discard, destroy a card in hand that costs 2 or more. Power 2, unleash. Any player discards 3 cards in hand and then draws 1 card. Okay, actually, yeah, I misread that. This one is really not that bad. Yeah, I was thinking of the Sky one. Anyway, so yeah, we rarely deal with this one. Unleash is fine, and any player discards 3 cards in hand and then draws 1 card. It's really not too bad in the beginning of the game, all things considered. So yeah, usually don't consider it too bad, especially because it's such a high cost to destroy a card that you just bought. Yeah. All right, let's move on to round 3, the last round in tier 1. Okay, round 3. Of course, I forgot to put a power tracker on here. That's it. All right, so let's move on to Nemesis. Still just one over here. So we move the Tainted Track over here, where it means that Grave will suffer 7 damage. Going down to 19. Right, 18, there we go. 5 down to 20 and then 2 from there. All right, so Agony's Field go down to 1. And we have Creeping Viridian. So discard, spend 7 ether. Power 3, any player gains a Tainted Jade and places it into a hand, which is really fine, there's nothing there to worry about. Advanced Tainted Track is, however, quite bad. It's a power 3, so it's quite far in the future. Rarely I deal with it because, well, the 7 ether is basically 3 charges for Malastar, which is half of a Radiance into play, and we really want to speed up the gameplay. So yeah, I'd rather gain the Tainted Track movement now and the Tainted Jade now than later in the game, extending it basically. So yeah, all right, so Malastar. So we know next time that Nemesis goes, it's gonna unleash. And that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we don't have the Tainted Jade next hand, so we kind of forced to just destroy the Tainted Jades from hand, even though it hurts with the ether, because we would like to have the charges, but it is what it is. So that's 4 ether here to destroy 2 Tainted Jades, I believe. Oh, sorry. There we go. That's 4 ether with 2 ether left over for 1 charge. 4 ether for the 2 Tainted Jades go over here, and then 2 ether left over for a charge, which goes to 6. And we have enough to use Gift of Ether to take the Radiance and prep it to Brama's open 4th breach. Nice. Gonna discard that, and that's it for Malastar. We have Brama. Right, so now it's when it becomes getting fun. I'll just troll Malastar's hand really quick. Because now, when we use Radiance, boom, dealing 6 damage, bringing Blight Lord down to 74. Malastar's gonna draw 1 card, so into the Tainted Jade, so that's how we're keeping control of that. Yeah. And then we do wanna just use one of the sparks to destroy it with Blight Lord, Bottle Vortex. There we go, 73 health. You're gonna use Bottle Vortex to destroy the spark from our discard pile, and a crystal from hand, and then draw a card. They're destroyed. Prepping the Buried Light to our open breach over here, and then we have, well, actually over here, to gain the extra damage, and then 3 ether to gain an additional Bottle Vortex. And that's it for Brama's turn, so I'm just gonna draw up. And we're moving on. Malastar. Right, we want to keep Immolate prepped. And now it's the fun part, so we have 3 over there, so we're quite fine for a while. Even with the extra unleashes, so I think we should be okay. So I'm gonna use the Tainted Jade to gain 2 ether, suffering 1 for a charge. Moving down to 7 HP. That's 2 ether there, 4, 6, 7. So we could buy off Creeping Viridian, but again, I would rather just move the game along, get some charges basically. So 3 for the Leeching Agate, and then 4 ether left over for 2 charges, so that's going to be 3 charges total, so we're going up to 4. Alright, Nemesis. Alright, so we have the Agony Field. Unleash. It's gonna be over here for Malastar, and any players discards 3 cards in hand and then draws 1. So yeah, it's alright, it's free over here basically. Like, we would like to get some other cards, but it's fine. That's the 3 crystals to draw 1. That's Retrieving Meridian goes down to 2. And we have Shard Spitter, 5 HP. Persistent Gravehold suffers 2 damage on any player gains a Tainted Jade and places it on top of their deck. That's alright. Well, now we might begin to lose control of our Tainted Jades, but it's gonna be alright, it's gonna be alright. Alright, we have Brama again. I'm gonna use the Blight Lord to deal 2, and then the Spark to deal another 1 to get Shard Spitter down to 2. So hopefully Immolate can take it down next if Malastar goes. Gonna prep the Radiance. Gonna use the Bottle Vortex to destroy a Spark and a Crystal from our discard pile, and then draw 1. Bottle Vortex is also destroyed. So we have 3 Ether that we could use to get a Bottle Vortex, but I think we're better off just getting a charge. That's it for Brama's turn. So let's move on to round 4, the first round of tier 2, sorry. All right, round 4. Let's see who goes, and we have Malastar. So immediately, yeah, that's just the Immolate going off to take out Shard Spitter, so we don't run the risk of having too many Tainted Jades running around. And we have the 2 Ether from Leashing Agate, and then we have 4 crystals, so 4 Ether, 6 Ether total. It's gonna buy us 3 charges, 2 first to get to Gift of Ether, 4 to 6. There we have it. Using Gift of Ether to prep a Radiance to Brama's Open Breach, and then we have 2 left over, so that's gonna be Ether, so it's gonna be 1 charge. And that's gonna be it for Malastar's turn. And let's move on to Nemesis. Right, so that's quite fine so far. And we have Draft Plinth. To discard, spend 8, power 2, advance the Tainted Track twice. Yeah, so that's one of those where I want to spend the 8 Ether, because moving the Tainted Track twice, that can hurt a lot, especially if so early on. That takes 2 powers. We have some time to deal with it. We go on to Brama. So that's going to be 11 damage. 5 damage from the Radiance, plus 1 from being an open 4th breach, so that's 6, plus the 5, so that's 11. Taking down Blight Lord 2, 62. Okay. And we have a Blight Lord, which we're going to be prepping over here, so we don't have it running around the deck too much. And then we have 4 Ether in hand, so we're gonna buy ourselves a Blasting Staff, which is absolutely beautiful. That's gonna pair well with the Radiances, so we can utilize the 4th breach quite nicely, and just gonna run through the very slim deck a lot faster. Oh, and sorry, totally forgot. We use 2 Radiances, so Malastar is gonna draw 2 cards. There we go, nice and beautiful. We are having Malastar. Okay, so we know next time Creeping Meridian is gonna go off, so we might wanna get rid of Tainted Jade to make sure it's not gonna have too many Tainted Jades out of the supply pile. But then again, we want to get rid of Dread Plinth as soon as possible, so let's see what we have. 2 from the Leashing Agate, 4 from the Crystal, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we just short. So we're gonna take the damage from the Tainted Jade to go up to 9. That's 2 charges because... Oh wait, we're not gonna get the charge because, well, you know, we don't have Immolate right now. So we're just gonna take the damage, going down to 6. That stinks, but it's what it is. And just buy off Dread Plinth. That's more or less the only one of the few powers I actually buy off. That's it, gonna be it. And we're moving on to another Nemesis turn. So Creeping Viridian triggers. Any player gains a Tainted Jade, so that's gonna be Malastar. And place it into their hand. And we advance the Tainted Track. That's gonna be it. Gonna draw a new card. And we have this spell. Unleash twice, the player with the most prep spell, discard the most expensive prep spell. Well, that's very nice timing because we don't have any Radiance's prep. There's so many times where I've been drawing this spell when I had a lot of Radiances out and then it's just gonna be like, nope. So it's gonna be the Buried Light that's discarded. It didn't matter where it was prepped. Oh, sorry, Unleash twice first. So Malastar is gonna gain that, Tainted Jade, and then there's one we kind of get, so that's 1 damage, goes up to down to 7 HP on Brama. It's gonna take it there. Yeah, and that's it from this spell. Going on to Brama. Immediately, we're going to use prep the Radiance in the 4th breach and then blast it off with Blasting Staff. That's going to deal 8 damage, 6 naturally, well, 5 naturally, 1 from the open breach, and then 2 from Blasting Staff. Moving down to $54. And we're gonna prep the other Radiance. 2 Evil left over, so that's gonna be a charge, going up to 3. And that's gonna be it for Brama's turn. And let's see what's going to happen next, because we might have Malastar going down to 2 HP. Yeah, if Nemesis goes next. So let's shuffle up and see what's going to happen. Round 5. When I drew the cards for Brama, I realized that yeah, the Dispel also got my Blasting Staff out of cycle. So it's not in hand with the Radiance, which is really unfortunate because now it's there with Buried Light. Yeah, so, well, we'll see how it goes. We are starting out with Brama, so that's going to be the 6 damage from the Radiance. So we are down to 48 on Nemesis. Getting closer and closer, and of course, Malastar is going to draw that card. Beautiful. Let's see what's going to happen then. We're going to prep the Radiance, the Buried Light over here, and then for 3 Ether, we're just going to buy a charge. 1 Ether left over. We don't want to open that bridge. It's much better to just have the health insurance. Brama goes again. 1, 2, 3, 5. So, well, now the Radiance is with the Blasting Staff again, I guess. So that's good. We are having 2 over here, so that would be 3. Yeah, that's good. Blasting Staff, Radiance gonna hit for 6, so down to 42, almost halfway. Malastar draws 1. And then Radiance is prepped again. We're gonna blast it off with Blasting Staff, so that's 8 damage. Whew, we're getting close now, so 34. It's difficult to calculate while recording. And Malastar is going to draw an additional card. So if Malastar goes next, we will get the Tainted Jades under control, I believe. Alright, so 3 Ether left over. That's going to be a charge, but we're not quite going to use it yet. I believe we will have enough time to use it when it gets to be Brama's turn again. So we're just gonna draw up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sad thing about this is that since Brama's gone twice now, like, yeah, sure, we dealt a good amount of damage to Gravehold, sorry, Blight Lord. But we might run into some nasty minions now that we might not be able to deal with as well. So we'll see how it works out. Nemesis, yeah, that goes twice. So that's gonna be Malastar going down to 2 HP. And Awaken. Unleash twice and Gravehold suffers 3. Well, yeah. Or place the most recent discard minion Nemesis discard pile back into play. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Alright, so that would be, Unleash twice would be dealing 2 damage to Brama, so down to 5. Yeah, I think that's manageable. I think we can do that. Brama gonna take the 2, down to 5. As long as Brama goes next, gets to take a turn next round, it's gonna be fine. Down to 15. Yeah, Gravehold is doing fine so far. Alright, let's see. Good, because that Blight Lord gains 5 HP. I really don't want to see that. Oh, that's the hand. Nice. Alright, so we're gonna prep the Immolate, obviously. And we want to get rid of 2 Tainted Jades at least. So that's the 2 crystals there. Unleashing Agate. That's the 2 Tainted Jades. And now, do we want to be risky and get the charge from suffering damage plus the 2 ethers? That's be 2 charges, 3 charges going up to... what do we have? What are we looking at? No, we cannot do that because we have the attack that just says put 3 Tainted Jades on top of your deck, so we cannot really risk it. So we're going to use the last 2 crystals to just spend on the last Tainted Jade. Alright. Discarding that. And we have Malastar again. I would really prefer to see Nemesis go. That's what it is. 5 cards. Yeah, so that's gonna be 3 charges going up to 4. From the 1. 2 charges away from giving another Radiance to Brama. It's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine, alright. And we draw Cauterizer. When damage is dealt to this minion, reduce that damage to 1, so it has 3 HP, has to be hit 3 separate times. Persistent, any player suffers damage equal to this minion's current life. If we don't get to take a turn in between that, that's gonna be really rough. That's gonna be really rough. That's so much damage. We can only survive it once, even. Like, otherwise we exhaust, so we'll see how that goes. Let's shuffle up, go into round 6 and see what's gonna happen. Okay, round 6. Let's see how luck smiles upon us. Starting off with the Nemesis, going strong. We have 6 Tainted Jades over here, so we don't move at all. Going down to 2 HP with Brama. So for the Cauterizer, and then we have Unleash twice and any player suffers 2. That's 2 for Malastar. Yeah. What do we do here? We really don't want to do it on any of them. I think we kind of have to do it on Malastar because... Yeah, because Brama is going to heal herself up, that's going to survive, give us some survivability for a bit longer. But then on the other hand, it's just health. Health or spells. Health or spells. I think we have the highest survivability by just going for the health. Right, so that's going to be taking 2 damage. And then the leftover one's going to be 2 to Gravehold. Losing the charges, losing a breach, and unleashing twice, so that's going to be 1. And 1 over here. And then when I suffer damage, gain 1, so yeah, the digital version just gives you 1 charge afterwards because you suffered the damage that made you go to 0, but not quite sure about that ruling, so for now I'm just going to say we didn't get the charge because we gained the charge when we suffered the damage and then immediately we got exhausted. So it's about what triggers first, and I think I asked about it before, but I forgot about the ruling, so I'm just gonna play it like that. So that's Lay Waste, resolved. Yeah, so let's see if we survived it. Yeah, that's twice, 2 in a row. That's gonna go twice. A Blight Lord's gonna gain 10 HP, 44. Gonna deal 6 damage to Gravehold. To 7 HP. And then we're gonna draw Pulverizing Ray. Power 1. Gravehold suffers 18 damage. The players may collectively discard up to 6 gems for each gem discard this way. Prevent 3 of that damage. We'll see about that. Alright, but that's it for Nemesis for now. Let's go on to players. We have Brama. Alright, so let's see what's gonna happen here. We have 3 cards over here. Okay. So we don't want to use the Buried Light just yet, because that would get the Blasting Staff and Radiance out of sync. So we're going to prep the Radiance, blast it off with Blasting Staff, cast it for 8 damage. So we're going to go down to 36. Going to prep the Radiance, use our ability to go to 5 HP, and we're going to get an additional charge, going to 1. And that's it for Brama's turn. And it's Malastar. Well, we definitely should have just suffered the damage on earlier with the Tainted Jades, because it wouldn't have mattered in the long. Oh wait, no, we would have gotten the spell, but then we would have lost an HP, I think. Yeah. Why did Brama lose that 1 HP again? Anyways, so we have... Well, Immolate we're just gonna use next turn. So Tainted Jade, Leeching Agate, actually does matter. Immolate 1 damage too, so we can see it sooner. Tainted Jade's bought off, so, well, we're still gonna lose, but you know. So that's 3 left over, so that's Leeching Agate for 3 and a charge. And let's go on to Brama again. Wait a second, we should have gotten 1 more card because of Radiance. That would have been a crystal, so instead of the Leeching Agate, we should have just gotten an additional charge. Alright, so now it's good. Good. And then it's Brama using the Radiance for 6 damage, going down to 30, and Malastar draws 1 card. Buried Light goes off to deal 1 damage to the Cauterizer, goes down to 1 HP. We have an additional Ether if we want. But do we even want to deal the damage to it? I think we're just better off suffering that damage, honestly. So we're not gonna do the Buried Light, we're just gonna keep it at 2 HP. Because then we're gonna keep the Blasting Staff in rotation, in keeping up. And then the Radiance for 8 damage. Going down to 22. So we're getting quite close. It would have been 12 HP if it hadn't gone twice. Yeah, that stinks. And Malastar trying to draw 1 additional card. I'm gonna prep the Blasting Staff like that. And I'm gonna draw up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're gonna move on to Malastar. Of course, gonna buy off the Tainted Jade with 2 Ether from the Leeching Agate. And we're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left over. That's gonna be 2 charges, 1 from the Leeching Agate we're gonna buy. Like that. And 1 from just buying a charge, so that's 4 charges. So let's see what's gonna happen next turn. Yeah, so let's move on to round 7, I believe, and see if we have enough damage to pull this off, or if we're gonna suffer along the way. Alright, let's get this on for the last round, well, round 7, before tier 3, but I don't think if we don't survive this or win this game now, if we don't win this game now, we're not gonna survive it. I think even like if Nemesis goes twice in a row, I don't think there's any way to win this. Let's see. We're gonna start off with Malastar, strong. Let's see. Gonna prep the Immolate. Immediately gonna use the Leeching Agate to buy off the Tainted Jades, and then we have 1 crystal left over. It's not gonna be enough for the Tainted Jades. I think I'm just gonna keep the Tainted Jade in hand to buy it off later. Alright, so that's gonna be it. So I'm gonna draw 4 cards to go up to 5. And that's it for Malastar. So let's move on to Nemesis. As a Cauterizer is gonna deal 2 damage. It's gonna go to Brama, so down to 3. HP. Pulverizing Ray is gonna trigger. We're gonna see how much can we get rid of. We're gonna keep the Leeching Agate for the Tainted Jade at least, so that's gonna be 3 crystals discarded. So down to 9 damage. And at the same time, we don't really want to discard the crystals over here, because that's gonna we're gonna lose our win condition, because next turn that would be 8 damage, bringing it down to 14. And then the next turn, with the prep radiance plus the radiance in hand, with the blasting staff, that would be 6 plus the 8, so that would be 14, right? That would be our win condition, so we can't really risk that. So we kind of just have to hope for, yeah, that this is going to be fine. So we're going to discard the 2, the Leeching Agate and the Tainted Jade. That's going to be 5. Only taking 3 damage. Down to 4. Let's see what we draw. We have Vertigra, 9 health. 9 health. Persistent, any player suffers 3 damage. If this minion has 8 or less life, advance the Tainted track. Yeah, so basically, we have to hope that Brama goes twice in a row now, because I don't think we have both the damage to deal with this. And yeah, if it goes again now, like, we're just done for. Yeah, GG. So Cauterizer is gonna deal 2, bringing Brama down to 1. And Vertigra is gonna deal 3, which Brama can't really take, and Malastar is gonna make that to 6. So yeah, that's GG. Almost had it. Almost. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, better luck next time, I guess. The next card on top is Ossify. The players collectively gain 3 Tainted Jades, place them on top of their decks, which would have been, well, all of the Tainted Jades, and then if it had been instead of Vertigra, we would just have been in a situation where Malastar would have liked to go next. Well, Brama and then Malastar to get the card draws, and then have 2 Tainted Jades out there. Because we would have lost on the tracker. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff that went wrong here, and a lot of stuff that could have gone right. It looked quite promising for a while, but then yeah, we got way too many Tainted Jades throughout the mid game. It's what it is. Better luck next time. Thank you for watching, and see you guys around.